Celonis for having us in this wonderful place. As you see, it's amazing. And yeah, the intention is to build these kind of events and contribute to the community and be more active in the coming months also. And yeah, organizing these kind of events once every 2 months, 3 months, as we see, okay? The design community has changed a lot in the last years in Madrid. I don't know if you remember, like 5, 6 years ago, there was to be one event per week. It was crazy. There were weeks with 2, 3, 4 events. You had the drama of deciding which event do I attend today, who is going to be here, who is going to be there, what is most interesting. That we'll let it fall down between all of us, I would say, by not creating more events, not being so active. And this is a great place. This is something for us, from us, and that we should build together. We are going to put some rails here. You can engage with us, be with us, have talk with us, contribute in different ways. There are many different ways to contribute to the design community. And why is it important to have a community? I think that for every bite that you give to the community, you get back a ton of opportunities and things back. My personal experience, let's say. 10 years ago, I met Juan in a design event. 2 years later, I was working with him. I've been in 2 companies with him, working for 8 years already. I've met some other people in the community, like David, who is here today. Also Alfonso, who is back there. Carlos was assisting to many of those events 5, 6 years ago. We were having beers afterwards in the community, right? It's a great place to build relations, do connections, and learn from each other. Also, it is an opportunity for all of you to grow. So if you're interested on speaking, you want to try in a small audience, 100 people, before trying in your company in front of 400 people, this is a place, right? So thanks everyone for coming. I'm gonna introduce our first speaker today. And as it is Thanksgiving, I'm gonna focus on giving some kind words to the people that I know. Okay? We have Juan today. He is a true lead. He's someone that you can really trust on. He's one of these best managers that you want to have in your career, right? His expertise, his knowledge about design, his vision, his strategic knowledge, and most important, his personality play an important role here. And you will see it today. He has driven at least a couple of companies, Library and Muse, from I would say from the Earth to the Moon with Library. The design department there changed so much. We were few, then we grew to an extent like 30 to 40 designers. But here, the experience in Muse right now, it's even better and more crazy. Imagine like 3 years ago, we were 5 designers. Today we are 70. So this feels like a trip from the Earth to Mars. And yeah, here is Juan today. He's coming back from Mars, landing in there. It was not cheap to bring him, but please give him a big applause. And
I think that he just ruined part of my presentation because I think that some of the data that he was sharing is what I'm going to tell you. But thank you very much, Victor. I really love you. First, I would like to express how happy I am to speak in front of you because it's like a lot of time since I had the opportunity to speak in Spain. and to celebrate and speaking in English, which I think that is going to be even better for you because speaking in Spanish is going to be so fast. So I would like to express to thank Celonis, Jorge Ferrer, and Alex Tropoyer, Javier, De Arcos, and Anton for hosting us in such a really cool and amazing place, but also for supporting the tech and design event in Madrid community. So also I would like to clarify that today I'm not going to show you like some remarkable success, groundbreaking impact, and holy shit, like a method or framework that we wanted to use. That's not what is going to happen. Today I'm going to tell you what it was like, how we got the stakeholders value, something that sometimes we are assuming that when you are starting in a company, everybody's going to say, take all the money and do whatever you want it. But we needed to build like, we needed to articulate a narrative to create the goal of Zero Sprint. I will tell you more. First, I think that I would like to clarify that there are only 3 ways to get the stakeholder value. You are one of the big boss, you don't need anything, right? You can do whatever you want. Second, playing politics. And this is like the typical things like the people are saying, shit, playing politics is terrible. When something is happening in a company, playing politics is terrible or something like that. I really think that yes and no. I usually use the example that playing politics is like having sex. Sexo. And it's because almost everybody does it, but nobody is comfortable enough to recognize how they are doing or something like that. I think that there are people that they don't have that problem and they can share, and that's not the situation, okay, of the big group. So, but the bigger things about playing politics is like always we're talking about what they are doing. It's like she is playing politics, he's playing politics, but never when we do it, and we do it in a daily basis. So, the third way is like creating a compelling story. And this is the way that we chose. And also we were playing a little bit playing politics, but we were making so many mistakes along the way. When I joined Muse, it was 2 years and 10 months ago, almost 25 years if I'm thinking about it. It was a huge roller coaster. Muse had a very powerful product, a strong mission, and a UX design team consisted of just 4 UX designers and 1 UX manager. Today I'm very proud to say that our fully remote team has grown to 70 people. We are going to be 80 next year, end of 2025, representing 27 different nationalities. Many of them are here among you. So, there is like something that when we are talking about what is a design organization or the design organization that we build, it was not only thinking about product design or something like that. We were integrating like a technical writers. We were integrating content design, service design, UX research, many fields in the organization. We were creating the organization from scratch, absolutely from scratch. Welcome. So, all of us, the 70 of us, we have a clear goal, and it's maximize user disengagement to achieve the goal of Zero Sprint. And you are going to say, what the hell is like a user disengagement and the path of Zero Sprint? I will tell you more in detail. This is a visual, I hope that I'm not covering. This is a visual representation about like what is going to be the presentation. Some of the problems that we found in the hospitality industry. We were a very small team, very small team, and we didn't have any type of influence in the organization. So we needed to create like a narrative, an approach, and goal, and we needed to define an action plan in order to get like the budgeting, support, investment, in order to be part of the definition of the strategy and building a vision for the company. So this is the table of contents I'm going to speak today. I'm going to speak very fast, no problem, okay? It's going to be only 1 hour. So let's start about like the first question. What the hell is Muse, right? What is Muse? Well, Muse is an ecosystem of solutions tailored for the hospitality industry, serving both hoteliers and guests. When we talk about like how hotel usually work, for example, I think like the best example it might be like, for example, American football team applying its playbook. Something is going to happen in the hotel, for example, like a VIP arrival, and there is like a place, a set of play or tasks that we are going to release. But instead of touchdown, as you can imagine, the main purpose is guest experience. So if a room is not available when you are arriving to the hotel, or there is like a problem with the bill, so you have a problem, for example, with the payment method, is the guest experience suffer. And let me be very straightforward about all those type of things. The guest experience in hospitality industry is everything, absolutely everything. Hospitality today, some of the problems we found, we were doing initially like some research, we were talking with all our customers, with many of the customers, not with all of them, okay? And we were doing so many sessions in order to find like some root problems that we can identify that will articulate our story. So vintage practices, repetitive tasks, and high cost transition. You might be surprised how many things are manual in a hotel. Have you ever had to wait in the breakfast room till that one staff member is asking you room number and you are saying 347 and name? With a paper is saying Juan Hidalgo. Juan Hidalgo with H or without H? Come on, shit. Or for example, after a long flight, lot of baggage, even perhaps even with the kids, you are taking the key card, take the elevator, one corridor, another corridor, 346, 347, you are putting like the key card and appear that hideous and shitty red light that the key card is not working. And you need to return to the reception. Like that one, many of them. But also, in the hospitality industry, there are millions and millions of tasks, repetitive tasks, like for example, check-in, check-out, car requests, for example. While many of them are required by law, like for example, asking you for identification, the passport or IDs or something like that, many of them consume thousands and thousands of hours, impacting both financial costs of the hotel, but also the guest experience. High cost transition. Normally, switching a PMS, that is a property management system, that is the center of the ecosystem, is often described for the hotelier like an open-heart surgery for its complexity, but also because for the extensive integration with the existing hotel technology stack is huge. So the PMS is the central system. They are managing the reservation, they are managing the billing, they are managing absolutely everything. And it's interconnected with so many tools like a CRM or event management system, or for example, like a POS connecting with the restaurant. It's a big shift, absolutely a big shift. It's a nightmare in some cases. And I think that when we are thinking about the high cost transition, we need to evaluate, like for example, the number of hours that we need to integrate the new system, but also something that normally we are forgetting when we are designing the learning curve of the people. The people need to learn a new system in order to switch to the previous one. One question, and I'm moving to you. What these situations have in common? What is the main underlying factor in the manual and repetitive task and high cost transition? Anybody? No muse, please don't answer. Okay.
It can be automated.
Everything can be automated. But I think that everything is about time. Everything is about time. It's the time that the hoteliers are dedicating to the technology. It's the time that they can dedicate to the guests. This is not something because we say, hey, it's going to be time. We were talking with the customer. We were even analyzing how others are doing and what are the biggest problems in the industry. So if you storytell it, they will come. We articulated a narrative at a wrong time, right? We encapsulated what we wanted to achieve, and we were creating very creative with this type of thing. And we said, we wanted to find more time for meaningful connection and making those moments truly remarkable. Cool, right? Very abstract. In some ways, it was like we were finding the problem and we were aligning with the Muse mission that is creating remarkable solutions. And then the essence of hospitality lies in human interaction, human experiences. And one of our core principles at Muse is like to create solutions that allow the hotelier to spend more time with their guests. However, at the Muse design team, we really believe that we don't want to release features or any type of things to trap or engage our users. So was enough the narrative? What do you think? Do you think that we got like the stakeholder the investment after creating this in some way abstract narrative? Yes or no? No, it was easy. It was a rookie mistake because we were saying perhaps we are going to convince them, right? Well, the CPO, the CEO, the stakeholder founder say, come on, that's really amazing, really great. You build something really interesting, but I need something more tangible. I need something that I can see. Okay, this is going to be a benefit for the industry, and it's going to be a benefit for our customers and for Muse. More tangible. What we did? Well, we were using an old concept called user disengagement. Origins, principle, values, and principle. This concept helped the stakeholders to understand why the designers wanted to do this type of things, and in certain way, how they wanted to do it. But it was like the main value of starting the conversation with the stakeholders. It was like it was a really strong shared message with our customers, because we told them we want to give them back their time. We want to give them back their time. So the customer will say, shit, somebody's thinking about the time, how I can improve the operational efficiency of my hotel. That was really great. In fact, in a nutshell, what we were doing, it was like finding the root of the problems. We were defining like the glue, that it was the user disengagement, and we were trying to convince everybody that this is the direction that we should take. Essentially, what I'm trying to tell you is like, personally, and I think that all of my team think the same, storytelling is our main superpower. It's the main superpower of the designers, and we need to use it. So perhaps like you didn't watch this movie. It's like 80s or 90s life of was like a Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, that he was listening like an inner voice. If you build like a baseball camp, they will come. It's something that always we had it's a terrible movie, okay? It's not a 1,000 guys, we love it, okay? So, but I think that it was a really line. If you build the right and the proper story, they will come. The support, investment, and stakeholders buying will come. It took more than 2 or 3 slides, okay? So, but what is like a user disengagement, right? We are going to say, what the hell is this one? It's like it's something cool. What is? I didn't hear about it. Well, 2 names come to my mind when I'm thinking about the user disengagement. One is Don Norman, and the other is Naoto Fukusawa. I'm really sure that many of you were reading so many books from Don Norman. He's one of the founding fathers of the UX. He believes that we should focus less on engagement and focus more on disengagement, on designing systems that automate all the tedious stuff that we don't want to deal with, automation, in order to focus more on the moment that matter, human connection, human experiences. Fukusawa's theories aims to create a seamless user experience. That is our dream, right? Where a user doesn't require to know how to use an object or when it's interacting with a system. So there are many ways to describe user disengagement, but I really love like this definition because it's really adapted to Muse. User disengagement seeks to minimize user interaction time with technology, enabling them to focus on more meaningful work, such as fostering human connection with their guests. Enough? No, it wasn't enough. We had like so many conversations with our founder, Richard Barter, and we discussed that we needed like some principle, something that we can help us to redefine the relationship, the current relationship of our customer with our platform. So we created like 4 user disengagement principles. The first one is like the unique time a user should be interacting with Muse. It should be to make a decision or take an action, period. Both of which will be driven by smart insights. So rather than thinking that the system, it should be something that you are going to see something, you are going to have any type of input, the system should be completely proactive to tell you, this is what is happening, and the system is waiting your instruction. or something like that. So second, make time for the work that matters. We wanted to minimize the interaction with technology to facilitate richer human experience. In fact, if you are thinking about it, it's exactly the opposite of what social media and gaming industries are doing, right? Exactly the opposite. We don't want to engage or trap users with our technology. Third, to make every moment better, we need to be extraordinary. One of the Muse mission wanted to become a category of one. And what is a category of one? A category of one are those companies that are naming an entire industry. For example, when you are saying Salesforce, you are not saying the leader of the CRM, or when you are talking about Stripe, Sonos, Uber, transportation. No, you are saying the name of the company, and you are talking about the entire industry. That is our ambition. We know that we need to make each message, each interaction, and each in the touch point absolutely extraordinary if we wanted to become a category of one. And fourth, and this is like something that had a huge impact in the company, in the overall organization, the ultimate success measure of Muse as a company is maximizing user disengagement. Another rookie mistake is like we were assuming, shit, this is easy. Everybody's going to give us whatever we wanted to ask, right? Well, big mistake. If what you are proposing, or who you are, for example, with the stakeholders, is not included in the company strategy or in the R&D department strategy, it won't lead to any type of progress. Nothing, zero, at all, nada. So this paragraph is from our R&D strategy. The visionary goal for us is to have no screen, zero screen. The visionary goal for us is to have no screen, zero screen. When we presented this one, it was in a really big and amazing auditorium in front of the company. Diego Bermudez, our amazing principal designer, and I, we presented, and everybody was there. Everybody. And it was all the C-levels, all the stakeholders, the founder, everybody was there. And I'm pretty sure they were expecting that we wanted to change the color of the interface and some icons and a font size or something like that. In fact, yes, we said, but it was only like a 3 or 4% of what we wanted. We told them that what they are building is not really helpful, it's not useful, and it's not our future. So you can imagine like a group of people with a small team that everybody was saying, what? Everybody was saying, what the hell these guys are doing? So I think that the common question for Hugo and for me was like, are you brave or are you stupid? Honestly, I really think that we were both, okay? And a little bit naive too. But that is highlighting like how the people were doing something in one way and you are saying, you know, we are going to change the way that we are doing everything. Right now, it's not about releasing. It's about releasing to not release in the future or something like that. So yes, we work. All the Muse design team is working for a future without a screen. Muse will function like a silent conductor orchestrating the behind-the-scene guest detail driven by human-to-human hands, all without a visible interface, invisible technology. Muse, the technology, will be there, unseen, but always present, ensuring that each and every guest and staff needs are met without any disruption. In fact, the unique purpose of creating invisible technology is to finally delete, remove, blur the line between physical and digital realms. So, defining to get the value, the action plan. What do you think? It was enough for the stakeholder to give us like what we were asking? Yes, no? What do you think? There are many slides yet, so it's easy to answer. Come on. No, we didn't. And the really great feedback, it was from our CEO that thought, hey, you understood the industry. Amazing. It was really great. The story, cool, sexy. The vision, come on, that's so bold and visionary, right? But what is the execution plan? What are you going to do? What are the changes that you are going to implement in your team and in the organization? And we were fine. We needed to start defining the plan. So these are some of the actions that we implemented. There were many others, but some of the most important in order to get that value finally. So the Zenith Triad is not related with the concept of the product trio. In fact, in Muse,
We don't have product trios. We have product quad, which also involves product marketing. The Zenith Tria is a way of thinking focused on reaching our highest dreams and goals. When you are thinking about that type of things, in theory, it's really great, but also when you are trying to put in plan, you need to make like some tough changes. Like for example, in our team, we needed to take some hard decisions about processes, about people, essentially about ambitions too. For example, we changed completely our hiring approach. We were starting looking for people really committed to advocate, maintain, and evolve strong foundations at around quality. So the right people were more important than specific skills. Something that is like a chain in the way that when you are thinking in our organization, you are finding like some skill for a specific element. We were hiring the right people. Foundation talent quality, that is our Zenith Tria. Also, Sofia Santos, our service design manager that is over there, she was visiting some of our top customers. She built like an 8 meters long blueprint, right? With all the services, roles, touch point, pain points, everything. It was insane, it was amazing. She was mapping our entire platform, our entire ecosystem. With that information, part of that information, we were creating golden tasks. And what is a golden task? Well, a golden task is like a workflow where a user follows certain key actions to complete some frequent tasks. Like for example, check in, check out, like paying a bill or something like that. But also the most important in the golden task is like we were mapping what is happening in our entire platform. We were measuring in the golden task like time on task, number of clicks, satisfaction, NPS, and customer effort score. Also, we created our own Muse UX score in order that we can show with results and metrics how great our UX is performing for the entire company. And everybody can access, everybody can see all the dashboard on time. So we did it by combining attitudinal metrics, NPS and customer effort score, with behavioral metrics, with user disengagement, where we were measuring time on task, number of clicks. By understanding how our UX is performing, our product team will be able to see where they need to act and how they need to act in each golden task. So, but not everything is about narrative and metrics, right? I didn't say before, but we really love and we really care for the craft and quality. We care for each pixel. The best way to democratize our love for the craft, it was our Muse design system. Our founder usually say that if it looks better, it's better. And everybody in our team believes that that is set in stone. And we are making use of that centered from our founder in so many conversations with product managers and engineers. Hey, come on, the founder said this type of thing. You should follow it. So the primary objective of the Muse design system is not consistency. I'm going to be so rude right now, okay? I really hate the word consistency. I prefer coherence. And I wanted to tell you why. In the hospitality industry, this is not only about the B2B. We have so many mental modes, and we need to adapt our system to different type of role and different type of necessities. So it's not about the consistency. Well, sometimes it's about the consistency. But essentially, it's to provide the designers and the product team the possibility to focus only on solving the problem. Forgetting reinventing a component, I think that this interaction is better, or some stupid conversations about some colors or some other visual element. What we were doing with the Muse design system, and this is something that is in progress, I hope that we will see by the end of 2025, it's not talking anymore about components or interaction, it's talking about page and layout, where the product teams can reuse it, that one, without taking in consideration, should I use here a call to action? Should I use it? It should be the primary color. nothing. It will be using the page and the layouts that we created. Some screenshot. I promise that I will put like some beautiful things. Our POS vision. There is like a step before the service screen that will be moving everything to mobile. And we are really aware. We are not going to be able to move from a laptop in front of the reception to nothing, right? We need to have like some iterative process with that type of thing. Our approach to mobile will be crucial. This is for our POS. Vienna's responsibility. Many of our patterns. And of course, if this is a talk, if I'm not saying AI, nobody is going to care about what I'm going to say, okay? It's the buzzword right now, okay? So the great things about having like ecosystem is like we can have all the information from different type of products, and we can offer to our customer in a holistic way. So a customer, for example, a revenue manager is going to have impact and information from different type of solution, from the bank management system, from the fintech area, from the everything. And that type of information, it will help them to take to make a decision or take an action with a smart insight. Well, I'm finishing. No, I'm not finishing. I'm joking. Okay. You reap what you sow. After many months, and I don't want it to be really straightforward about how many months we needed. Workshops, lunch and learn, slides, presentations, talks. We did it. We finally we got the stakeholder budget, and they told us, fine, we are convinced. Great job. You can start building the organization. You can start thinking about what is going to be the strategy, the vision of the design team. Perfect. Back then, the question was, shit, right now, what, right? Are we going to try to improve the user experience of this product or that type of thing? Well, it was about results. Results are what truly matter. And perhaps you are thinking, cool, you convinced the stakeholder, but this is something that we usually have like a typical question from our bosses, right? Did Muse as a company get better financial results after the design organization? The answer is yes, really great. We had and we have really great results. Of course, I'm not going to be able to share the economic results because are really good, okay? We are really happy. What I can share with you are other metrics that perhaps are going to be very interesting for all of you. Are like, for example, between July 2023 and July 2024, we have reduced the time on task. Do you remember the golden task? We have reduced by 46% for the most frequent golden tasks. We are talking about thousands of hours. And when you are thinking about thousands of hours, remember like the impact of the financial cost in the hotel, but also in the guest experience. Our NPS, we were not in a really great shape back there. We had like the same period, July 23 to July 24. We have a 3, very sad and very sad 3 of our platform. We increased 900% from 3 to 30. So the customer started to share and providing feedback that, hey, you're doing really good things. Fine, I'm finding really useful all the changes that you are implementing. So win-win for the entire organization. But when we are talking about the user experience, sometimes we are only talking about like what we are doing in terms of interaction, platform, design, everything, right? The most important part for us also is like how we are helping the hoteliers to increase their total revenue. Better business for everybody, and that was very clear. So this metric, RevPAM, revenue per available square meter, show how well a hotel monetize all its assets. For example, meeting room, parking lot, restaurant, everything. Hoteliers that adopted Muse Spaces solutions where we invested heavily in UX increased their total revenue by 6%. And you can think, come on, 6%, you told me 900 before. 6% in a total revenue is a lot, okay? It's a lot. What about the user experience in terms of what we wanted to achieve? And this is aligned with the narrative, the approach, and the goal. hoteliers had 35% more time to spend with their guests after implementing Muse. And that for us, it was like, we told you, exactly this is what we told you. They are going to have more time to spend with their guests. Muse Beyond. This is like a brief view about like the vision or the work that we were doing for Muse Vision. This is one of my favorite quotes, okay? And perhaps you read this quote, and other people are saying that it's Abraham Lincoln, okay? Honestly, I was in a conference where the speaker before me was using the same one, and she was putting Abraham Lincoln. I was so ashamed to say, shit, I don't know, perhaps I didn't find the right quote or something like that. Any case, I really love it, okay? The best way to predict the future is to create it. And I think that this in some ways is like defines who we are, the Muse design mindset. Over a year ago, 16 months or something like that, here in Madrid, a group of amazing designers, we were starting thinking and brainstorming and formulating literally crazy, absolutely crazy idea. I'm not going to share with you some of the crazy ideas, but some of my people are right now laughing. Crazy ideas. The design of the future, we call it. And the bigger thing is like, perhaps most of them they don't know, but many of those are right now a reality. Other companies were creating something like that. For example, we can talk for hours, literally for hours, about new materials, surfaces, customizable rooms based in guest past preference or behaviors. These are not science fiction. In fact, they are becoming a reality. It's just around the corner. And when we are talking about the future, I would like to share with you something that, in my opinion, it should be our responsibility as a designer industry. And it's like the future is not about creating a future or releasing a new thing or improving a process or something like that. It's how our customers interact with them. That is our real game changer. How, in some cases, Muse design trying to redefine human interaction with technology. Finishing, I promise, okay? Two topics that I would like that you guys can, if you don't mind, I suggest you that you can start reading about hyperautomation and D4D. Hyperautomation is a term that Gartner created like 5-6 years or something like that, where they are explaining the powerful mix of integrating AI, machine learning, RPA, robotics process automated, with process mining in order to automate each process that a company or a system needs. So we are not talking about automating one process. We are talking about automating absolutely everything. We can be scared or something like that, but that's the reality. And that perhaps it will be the first step to have like a zero screen technology. So D4D is something that is really aligned with our love for craft and quality, and is designing for delight. And I think that this is also on us. I'm really sure that many of you, I'm so passionate when somebody is telling me that, come on, it's B2B. You shouldn't be dedicating so much time because they don't care about the user experience. The buyer is not the user, right? It's bullshit, okay? And I think that we have a strong responsibility to think that this is not about B2C and B2B. It's about software to be used for humans. And delight is like a human need. It's not a luxury. It's vital and it's crucial. And it's our responsibility to start cutting down that nonsense about like a B2B, it doesn't matter. Why? Finishing, yeah. So just a disclaimer. While many of the things that I told you, like at the zero screen, might take some time to become a reality or gradually being implemented, there is no doubt. We don't have any doubt. I don't have any doubt that it's going to become a reality really soon. Thank you very much for everything, and I hope that you enjoy the talk.
Does someone have a question?
Thanks for the talk, really inspiring. As an ex-receptionist and current designer, I asked myself, how do you cope with the rapid changing world and the new rules applied, like new taxes coming in? How do you cope with that?
It's absolutely possible to cover everything. I think that one of the biggest things, like we are sometimes so obsessed with cover all the base and to know everything that is absolutely impossible to know. I think that the biggest thing is like trying to find like what do you want to focus and trying to go there, and don't trying to be really distracted because like one company is offering another job for something that is not really aligned with the future that you wanted to take. As a designer, that is one of another main superpower, the flexibility with the storytelling. Is how we adapt to new realities or something like that, new necessities. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Any other question? Maybe
Isn't that one?
yeah.
Hi, thanks for the talk. Lovely. I just by that rule of you can only fix what you measure. Why did you choose revenue per available square meter and not something like revenue per guest or some other metric which is much more obvious?
Really good question. I'm going to be really polite. We didn't choose that metric. It came from the financial strategy. So I get it. Even in some cases, like for example, it's not per available meter. Perhaps it's per room or something like that. There are many ways. But the biggest things with that type of things is like one of the biggest problems, always was one of the biggest problems in the hospitality is like there are huge hotels that they are only monetizing only the room for the bed. And what happened with the rest? They are not providing, for example, spaces for events, for restaurants, for other type of things. So that was what we were thinking is like, this is your building. Let's start thinking about how we are going to monetize this meter. But it wasn't our responsibility, I assume.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you. Do you think you will be able to sell this engagement vision if you were a B2C company?
Yes, why not? I think that the biggest thing is like what we want is like if we are minimizing the interaction with technology, also for the guests, what we are trying to create is a seamless user experience. We are trying to be more integrated for the guests, and we are going to provide them the same in less time and less process. I don't see a problem. To be honest, I can sell
something like a service, something like a marketplace or something like that.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is like we are talking about solution, right?
Yeah.
What we are saying is like when you are applying, for example, some of the principles of the user disengagement to our software development, you are going to have very clear that you don't need to release something without having very clear that it's minimizing the interaction with technology with the user. It's like thinking about, this is something, a daily problem for us. It's like we are working in some interaction, and when we are, it's like, holy shit, we are adding so many clicks. Yeah, but it's easier. Guys, let's try to find that the balance between what we wanted to release and how we wanted to cut some of the process.
Thanks for the talk. It was a great piece of thought. While you were sharing your achievements, I was super curious. Maybe you don't have the answer to this, but I have a question, which is like, what are hoteliers doing with that much time they save? Are they like making that guest experience like even better, or what are, yeah?
That is a really good question. I think like we usually think like the hoteliers are dedicating the time that, let's say that the system saves them to focus in the guest experience. Sometimes what we are doing is like, I'm pretty sure that you were having like the same experience. You are in the reception and the person in front of you is not going to look you. He's like, okay, are you checking? Yes, and they are doing like some process. That type of relation that we are talking about, that human to human interaction, is something that the hoteliers are understanding that is really great for the business, because nobody wanna, well, it's like what I said with the, nobody is talking about, there are always people that they don't want to have any type of interaction with other people, but most of the people, they wanted to have a really great experience in the hotel, and when you are there, what you wanted to have is like a person that is going to tell you, if you wanted to go to a restaurant or that, something more human. So I don't have the data. I think that when we are asking, we are assuming that they are dedicating that time to the guest experience or other type of tasks, But what we know is like they are using less and less and less technology.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan. Let's give a big applause to Juan. I'm gonna present our next speaker. Maybe you can start connecting.
This is mine, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so let's deal with technology. Well, I'm introducing Alfonso. Alfonso is I would say he's a community designer. I've seen him in many, many, many events. Yeah, the way he speaks is amazing. He's a truly good storyteller. And I remember that I met him, or I saw him for first time like 10 years ago in El Matadero in Madrid. He was giving a presentation related to the event, the UX Fighters. And what I remember from that first interaction with him is he was basing his narrative on top of the Calendly project.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good.
I don't know if you have that talk somewhere, but I would like to see it again. He tells really great stories. So if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Here's a micro. Yeah, please welcome Alfonso.
Thank you. This is going to be a little bit too much, but hi, my name is Alfonso Morquende. I'm the head of design for Singular. We are an interdisciplinary team of designers inside of a much larger technological and strategy company oriented of 1,500 people. We like to call ourselves complex problem solvers. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. And kind of.
I hope you have nothing there.
Okay, like that, if you don't mind. And we are creating a design culture around complexity and problem solving. And this talk is going to be about that. Let's see what else can go wrong. Complexity is hard, as you can appreciate in this slide. This is our design process for complex problems. And we follow different kind of design processes for different types of problems. But today I'm not going to be talking about on a specific framework, but I'm going to be talking because people organize this. It was the main thing is going to be design vision. I'm gonna try to explain how complexity is. It should be something that it will define our design vision in the companies that we work for. And if you don't know if what is complexity, or if you are living complexity, or if you are in a complex environment, or you are facing on your teams a complex problem full of complexity, maybe this will give you a good hint, right? So the first, it will be the problems are undefined. You may feel like you are not addressing the root causes of your challenges, or even the main problem is still not clear, right? And the second one, it is that that is resistance against change everywhere, right? Whether it's in the business or to the consumers, to the users, or the way that your company is navigating daily way of resolving problems. And finally, the fear of organizational and dynamics. Everything is political, this kind of pressure is constant in your life, right? And you are unsure about what you can say and to whom. If you feel related to any of these, maybe you are experiencing complexity firsthand. And if these symptoms are still unclear, because it can be really personal, I brought here like 3 classical examples where these 3 main signs end up really badly. And the first one, as I said, it was a classical example, so it's take a really all time. And the first that I'm going to talk is about undefined problems, right? So I'm going to be talking when Blockbuster was struggling to well define the problem that it was facing in the early 2000s with the streaming revolution, right? And instead of focusing or defining well the problem, they decided to focus on maintaining physical stores and ignore the, instead of adapting themselves to the common revolution, they didn't see it coming because the problem wasn't clear for them, right? So complex problems, they are not always a clear cut. They are often ambiguous and hard to define. And when things are badly or poorly defined, it is quite often that we make mistakes. I'm going to talk about resistance against rapid change, like when Kodak's inability to shift from traditional film into digital photography basically lead into quick downfall of the whole company. And research based on historical data or linear projections, it doesn't project well behaviors on complex systems. So we have to be aware of that. And also, I'm going to bring another classical example, like the fear navigating of political or organizational dynamics, like when Volkswagen has to face the Dieselgate scandal, right? When basically engineering teams had to, under pressure to meet strict emission standards, decide to take the wrong decision. And as a consequence, the company has to suffer for legal, financial, and reputational damage in a humongously big way. So, on certain environments, the kind of leadership, the decision-making must shift from prediction and control into more quick adaptation, learning, and experimentation. But not all is bad news. Congratulations to all of us, right? We reach a point on design where basically we are not justifying anymore our job, our actions on the aesthetics or into putting features inside of a digital products, or just user research or design systems, or more recently design ops, right? Now design plays a central role on defining the strategy and the companies that we work on, and we are shaping the present and the future of our companies. That is great. However, the world has become far more complex, uncertain, and than ever before. And as the saying goes, when we have all the answer, they change the questions. And we are experiencing a significant shift on the challenges that through design we are facing, right? So first, our problems, our challenges tend to be bigger and bigger. And the bigger our challenges, the bigger of the amount of information that we have to deal with. And this information, either is relevant or irrelevant, is something that we constantly face. And the second one is, at the same time, the world is transitioning from order to disorder, and complexity is on the rise. And traditionally, design culture has been grounded in linear cause and effect. We strongly believe that if we can, define a challenge, we can plan some actions, and we can predict the outcomes. And we are designers, and we love to have plans. But there is something happening with our plans. Our plans, they don't work anymore. Most of our plans don't work anymore. Again, new technologies such as artificial intelligence, you said the word, rapid business shifts, and profound social changes are creating uncertainty. And these interconnected issues are making our outcomes in our plans way more difficult to predict. So the new normal is knocking out our plans. I think that design teams needs to better understand how to operate on big, large, and complex problems. And big, large, and complex problems like, for example, this one. How might we design a telehealth system powered by artificial intelligence for healthcare providers and patients so that routine diagnoses are improved, serious illness are detected early, resources are optimized, and costs are reduced or revenue increased? And this kind of challenge or this kind of problem sound like a complex problem. And actually it's a complex problem. But why? And operating in our innovation models, the first reaction of a person who dedicates to design, it will be just to research, it will be worried about getting more information about people, about the people behind the healthcare, right? Sorry, yes, you did that. And just remove. That's it? Okay, perfect. Sorry again. So in this visualization, we can see how social factors and behaviors shape our health. And first, social factors like access to healthcare or our income. And that thing shapes our behaviors around exercise or diet. And all those things combined together have an impact in our disease risks. So this is the first thing that we have to worry about in our innovation model. What about the people? But then, we had to move in our innovation model and worry about technology. And here we have all the artificial intelligence techniques that can identify and patterns predict our health. Again, something easy, simple, straightforward, right? And later, the last one in our innovation model, we worry about our business constraints, right? So we had to address multiple goals. We had to deal with diverse stakeholders, or we had to know how to integrate complicated technologies, or why not navigating ethical and regulatory changes. And for sure, the last one but not the least, being sure that any change on technology or people or business will impact our solution again. And now that we know everything, basically we have technology information, people information, and business information, we are ready to operate as designers because we have a lot of data of everything. So we don't have to worry because we have our innovation model in the shape of a really simple, beautiful, nice Venn diagram, right? But if we look closer under the hood of this Venn diagram, the thing that we're going to find is everything. Everything is there, right? All the complexity that we hide is there. And we as designers, we are really good at hiding complexity under simple representations, right? But again, complexity is there. And this is where design operates today. And this is our normal life happens. And I don't know what about you, but for me it's exhausting. In my opinion, we must face reality and we need to know how to incorporate complexity in our design practice. We need to learn from our mental health and better outcomes in our solutions, how to deal with this new world of complexity. At the beginning, I mentioned that we are complex problem solvers and that we are creating a design culture around complexity. And what I meant by that is basically this. This is how it looks. This is where we are working around complexity. And basically, we work in 4 key areas. Today. First, our complexity framework. Not all the problems are the same. Identify why the problem that we are facing. It's really important in order to know what is the kind of mindset, thinking, and design process that we have to apply to that kind of problems. And I'll explain now. That's maybe today. I'm sorry, but for the time that I have here today with you, I'm not going to have time enough to talk about the other 3 pillars that we're working on. More than happy to discuss later with you, or if there's another 3 talks, we can discuss them all, right? And we have the problem mindset, and we encourage design teams when they're facing complex problems to move or to shift from responding to feature requests, and we push them to focusing in solving undefined problems. And in our experience, it's something that is working really well. And then the way that we think about complexity is like making it present in a visual way. So talking about complex problems require like mapping all the elements that are alive into a system, how those elements are interacting with each other, and later just to understand what is the purpose of that system. So we use visual sense making in order to, in a visual way, to represent where the problem lives inside of the system. This is the system, this is where the problem lives. And we do this thing before even we have any plan or try to attack the problem. And it's helping us a lot. And finally, our design for complexity. As you know, I think that it was the 3rd slide that I showed you is the process for design process for complex problem solving. This is the part where it lives, right? Where we basically combine analytical and creative techniques in order to have a design process for these kind of problems. So if these are the 4 pillars, the one of today, the one that I'm going to explain, is complexity framework. And if you don't know how to classify a problem, the thing that it can happen is like you are using a simple solution for a complex problem, and it won't work. So how can we categorize problems in relation with complexity? First, we have simple problems. Imagine that all of you, had to design an exit sign for this building. Why this is a simple task or a simple problem to tackle? It's obvious what to do. Basically, all of you have to show the people where the exit is. There are rules, and you know, the word exit, the iconography, the color green. It's something that most of the people in our culture is going to be understanding those kind of signs, right? And there's no necessity to be extremely creative. There are rules about the font. There's rules about the size of the icons. it is like following a simple recipe. It's like cooking pasta. I'm sorry if it is in Italian. It is like a simple recipe. You just have to follow a series of steps, not to be too creative. You have a decent meal tonight at home, right? And then we have complicated problems. And complicated problems are not complex problems. Like this one. Right now, this is a complicated problem. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about complicated problems. Complicated problems, no complex problems. And yes, complicated problems, they are more complex problems, more hard to resolve. But like, for example, design the controls of a cockpit in an airplane. And what's the characteristics of complicated problems? You need experts. You need someone who knows how an airplane operates. You need to have experts like ourselves who will be experts on human-machine interaction, right? And there is a clear correlation between cause and effect. I mean, if you put controls in this area, chances are that flying or operate the airplane is going to be more difficult, right? So if I put this in here, this is going to be the outcome. Even though there's a lot of controls, but there is a clear correlation between cause and effect. And among many possible solutions, there is one that is better than the other ones. There is a solution for this. It is a right way of putting controls in an airplane cockpit, right? It's like fixing a car. You go to the mechanic, and I don't know where the problem is going to be, but chances are, if he's a good mechanic, good expert, he's going to find it. He knows what is going to be the problem, and there is a solution for the problem that you have in the car. And then we have the complex problems. I'm not going to read it again. But what are the characteristics of a complex problem? And we have an excess of information, right? We have an excess of information about people, humans, technology, or business. And as much information we can gather, chances are that you are not going to find one single piece of information that is going to solve the problem. As much information that you get, you are not going to solve the problem. Information doesn't solve the problem. There is not a clear solution. There's many different ways where you can go, all of them equally valid, equally right? So there is we don't have to find for the only solution. And over time, with new information, more information about the people, more information about the business, more information about the technology, chances are that the actual solution is going to be obsolete. It's not going to make any sense anymore. So there is no one solution. There is a possible solution over time. We are changing the solution on and on and on when things are evolving. Then we have other type of problems, like the chaotic problems, like find a building. And you need to act quickly. You don't need to act, go in there, get the people, get them out, put them in a safe place, and that's it. And sorry to say that, pretty much sure that many people in here has been spent a lot of time in their professional career facing these kind of problems, right? And finally, we have disorder problems. And this one I had to read it because it's a little bit complex for me, and I'm quite old, and I'm not really an expert in this. Like Mario Bros question mark block, because got a specific name, this kind of box, no, right? You don't know what is inside, so you had to go there, you had to make some research before taking any action. And all these different problems, they are described in the kind of fun framework created by David Snowden in 1999. And it's a great framework that correlate, establish a correlation between different types of problems and with the complexity. It is great to classify problems around complexity, but it won't tell you what is the solution. but it warns you about using facing complex problems using simple solutions, right? So let me ask you a quick question. Another check, Star Wars. Imagine that you work for the Rebel Alliance design team. Just imagine that, right? And the brief that you receive is kind of this one. How might we execute a successful attack for the Rebel Alliance so that the Death Star is destroyed with minimal risk? What kind of problem is this one? Is this a simple, complicated, complex? Anyone? No, you know. Anyone want to try? Is this a good or bad sign? I don't know. Nothing? Okay, I'm gonna shoot. It's not a complex problem. It's a complicated one. And the reasons why this is a complicated problem, I'm gonna play here the video. First of all, it's impossible to follow our recipe. We did not destroy a Death Star before, so we cannot follow the recipe. And one piece of information solves the whole puzzle. Someone risking their life gets the blues. What is the word in English? Blueprint of the Death Star, and we know that linear cause and effect. If you drop a bomb at the center of the Death Star, it will explode. And so there is it's a simple cause and effect reason. And another thing is like you rely on experts in order to execute the plan. You need the Rebel Army forces or the Rebel Army pilots. And the force be with you. So remember, not always big problems are complex problems, but always complex problems are big problems. And I'm taking my time that you read this because I would love to finish this talk mentioning my friend Mindas. The truth is, probably many of you know him. And I think that we designers get relevance by solving user problems, and that is great. But there's many other problems inside of our organization. And as I try to explain today, there is a whole new world of complex out there that are waiting for us. Be better armed and very prepared to face them. And if we saw how to reduce friction, how to build trust, how to move from uncertainty into a calculated risk, I think that this will be our strategic vision for moving design from service to a strategy. So, thank you. Question? Question?
I killed you all.
Was that complex?
Yeah, exactly.
Question? Maybe let's move to Fernando.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
So while Fernando connects the equipment, I have to say that I don't know Fernando that much, so that's why I took the chance to talk with Carlos, who knows him pretty well, and he shared with me some words of appreciation because the kind of introductions that I'm making today. And the first thing he said is, you know, when you look into his designs, you can believe a person designed that. The craft is out of this world. He puts so much love into design, into details. He's passionate about typography and strategy. So I'm sure if he was impacted that way, he can make the same with all of you in just 30 minutes.
I'm so great that I cannot keep Figma working. How great I am. You have to take por ahora. Technical problems. Okay. Cool. Finally. Well, we are not dead. This is the one last issue to. Okay. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to be talking today about design culture and how it's in relationship with design vision. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I don't know if any of you, well, with some of you I have had experience in the past. I'm a partner at Farco, which is a design studio. I don't know if you are familiar with Farco. We are a design studio of 10 people, 10 designers. There are some people there in the audience that I'm very proud of. We are a design studio doing digital product design and branding. And we are working like globally, like 50% Spain, 50% US, Mexico, and other countries. And we were born, we were the founders, we were leaders, the design leaders at the BBVA. And we found a gap between corporate world and design agencies. Like most of the agencies that are very creative and have very amazing ideas, they don't know how to scale those ideas into a big corporation. And there are other agencies that are very good on scaling ideas or scaling design, but they don't have that creative thinking and great thought to put on their products. So we felt there was a gap there. That was Fargo was born 4 years ago, like in 2020, February, 1 week before COVID. It was the best moment for starting a company. So let me do a quick intro about vision, culture, and that relationship on a company. I think everything starts with a vision in every company. News has a vision, and that's why they start with building what they do. For me, the vision is like the purpose you have, like why are you here, why did you exist, why are you doing this work, and it should drive everything. So in the case of Farco, our vision was filling that gap between agencies and corporations and being able to, connect the dots that we thought no agency was filling that on the market. But we also wanted to put Spanish talent on the radar. I don't know if you have had any experiences talking with people outside of Spain, but they don't think that there is a lot of talent in Spain, which we think that's wrong, and that's not right, and that's not true. So our idea was to put Spain on the radar of US corporations or anyone outside Spain. And then we kept iterating our vision to be a top-rated design studio, known around the world for our heart, our quality, and our people. And that's our vision. That's why we're here. That's why we exist, and that's the purpose of everything we do. So basically these three things, like hard, quality, and people. So what's the role of culture in all this? The thing is like that company vision that every company has, that should drive you to define your design vision. And with your design vision, you should be thinking on design culture in this order. We have mentioned company vision, that purpose, that, why are you here? After that, designing that design vision is basically what do you want to achieve through design, which helps you to inspire your team. The design vision will help you to unify the approach of different designers in your company. It will help you to have a consistent reference for any designer or any people in the company. It will help you to connect that with your strategy, with your way of thinking, with your values. And culture is how are you achieving this? If we say that my vision is why I'm here, why do I exist? Culture is how are you going to achieve that? And for me, the big thing of this is that vision is usually defined by founders or leaders or C-level, but culture is something that we all build inside the company. It doesn't matter where you are in the company, how far you are part of the company, and you should help to define that culture, to spread that culture, to scale that culture. So for me, there are like 4 pillars to have a strong culture. And again, everyone should be part of this, be involved in this, think about initiative related to this. And for me, the 4 pieces are the way you design, your craft, how you take care of the small details, like Juan was mentioning, like they do that no screens, but they are still, taking that pixel perfect account. What are you passionate about? For example, we in Fargo, we are really passionate about international, working with different cultures, like different mindsets. We don't want to work just with Spain. So that's part of our passions, and we don't want to lose that. And that drives our culture as well. And people inside the company, it's great if they have the same passions, the same beliefs, and the same feelings. The third one is what processes, what rituals, what things are you doing for building product in your company? And the fourth one is how you select people, how you take care of people, how you hire people, even how you fire people when you need it. All that is culture. So I think for me, these 4 pillars define the culture. And I mean, I will pass quickly, but all of these require deeper thought and ask questions to yourself. For example, in craft, like what details are you taking care? What mindset should you have? What feedback are you giving to people? Are you creating feedback as something that is cultural in your company, constant feedback? How are you balancing freedom versus guidance to the designers? The tool you use, even that small piece, that can be something cultural as well. The passions, I think that's really important. The things you love, the things that are important to you, the things you're passionate about, and also your team. For example, this is part of our team, like Marina loves music, Sandra loves painting, me loves video games. I mean, those parts can be part of your culture as well. And it's great that the team can be part of the global culture, even if they have their own personal passions. Processes, how you collaborate between teams, how you evaluate performance, the rituals you have, and the people, which is probably the most important part and something that most of the people relate to with culture, is that people you have, important questions you should do to yourself, like how are you celebrating success, for example. And again, this is not something just for the leaders. If you are a manager, you should be thinking of these questions. But if you are part of the team and you are not happy with the culture you have, or you are not happy with how people are doing things, you should propose things, you should create initiatives, you should be part of that, because culture is built by everyone. So all these 4 pieces will create a strong culture. What I want to share today after this quick intro is some takeaways we have had in terms of culture, things we have learned, things that worked very well in the past to us. And I would love to share something more related to craft as well, which I think is something that is strongly connected with our culture in Fargo. So takeaways, what lessons have we learned, or what 5 pieces I have learned in my career for embedding design culture in a team. The first thing is that I think people pursue excellence when they see it every day. Have you ever had a situation where you are entering a team? For example, I can imagine the news team that is very talented, and someone enters the company and they feel like everyone is rock stars, they are so good, and I need to, raise the bar, I need to be at that level. I mean, people pursue excellence when they see it every day. And it's amazing that you all can be part of that. Like, maybe you don't think about that, but you are inspiring other people, and the way you do and the things you do and how you think and how you react and everything you do is creating culture and is inspiring others. So that's why it's so important to have the right people in your company. And I'm sure all of you want to be surrounded by amazing people, nice people that work hard and are nice. The second piece that I think is really important is that the values of the company should drive everything. And I think that's so important that you work in a company that you feel connected with, that your values are the same values that that company has, because the values for the company should drive everything they do. For example, in Farco, we have these 4 principles: quality, transparency, service, and entrepreneurship, and we use them everywhere. They are not just something that we have for having those. We are doing, for example, performance reviews, and we are evaluating performance end of the year based on how they are performance in quality and transparency. We are even like having, detail of what are we evaluating on that, which is great. Like, we are evaluating how you are connected with our culture, how culture fit we have. But we also use those principles on every decision that we take, every initiative we support, the clients we work with. There are clients in markets that we don't want to work with because we don't think they are ethical, and we don't want to work with those. And that's cultural as well. People we hire. There are sometimes that there are amazing people, so talented, but ego, or they are jealous, or we feel something that we don't like, and we don't want that in the company. So those values should drive also the people we hire, team performance, etc. Another great piece that I think everyone can be involved is fostering creativity on the team. I'm sure most of you have the situation where you are in a project, 6 months, 1 year, you are doing the same thing, repetitive, and you need to, think out of the box, do something different. Like, I need inspiration, doing something different. So what we propose is doing constant creativity exercises to foster that on the team. For example, we did one of designing flags for the studio. We did another one for designing posters for the studio. It's like, we want to decorate the studio. Okay, let's do a contest. And everyone can participate, can design their own posters, and it can be something that it's outside of the project, something fun, something different that I can really put love and, learn and be inspired by the rest of the team. This was the one that won the poster. It was designed by Sandra, that she's there. That she designed like the building that we were working. This is the full team. I guess me and Peg were the only one working. The other are cheating. I don't know if that's good or not. Recently, we did another contest for the newsletter in the studio, like end of the year. Let's think about naming, branding, and we took tons of ideas from the team until we have final logotype and final newsletter. And it was great also for inspiring team. Another takeaway is something that I strongly believe is that we are the combination of the 5 people we spend more time with. It can be your family, it can be your friends, it can be your teammates. Like, if you are surrounded by good people, you will end up better. And if you are surrounded by assholes, you will end up being an asshole. So the idea is that you really take care of, for example, where are you going to work? Do you like the team? Do you like people that work there? I think most of people do that. Like, I'm going to work in news. Okay, I will enter LinkedIn and I will look for news people. Who is there? Oh, I'm going to work with this guy or with this girl. Because I think it's really important that at the end of the day, you are going to be a combination of the people that you spend more time with. So be sure that you are a combination of 5 amazing people. And even if we are in remote, we spend 8 hours, 10 hours a day in meetings, in Slack, and that also affects that, our personality because of that people. And the last takeaway that I can share in terms of culture is work on things that all the team believe in, like work on projects that all the team feel passionate about, and find pieces that everyone want to feel involved or have a positive reaction to that. For example, on the studio, we are working with projects of positive impact, like this circular economy project in Dubai. Because it's crazy that people are throwing things that they don't want to the desert. It's like we do in Spain with throwing to the river or to the sea. What they throw is like the seed they don't want, they just put it in the desert. And it has a very nature problem with that. So we were like building a product for selling that stuff and not throwing it into the nature. So that kind of positive impact project is something that people feel connected and they believe in. So I think no matter what you are doing, the product you are working on, try to find projects or initiatives that the people believe in and want to be involved. This was, for example, for carbon footprint in Latin America, that we did all the brand and all the digital product. This was for modular houses for emergencies. This was for a consultancy related to positive impact. And this is being part of the culture that we are building right now as well. A piece that I wanted to go more in depth is around the design principles we have in the studio. I was mentioning that there was like 4 pillars for creating a strong culture. One of them was the craft. So we were thinking like how we can have a common mindset on the team, how we can have the same high standards in quality, how we can all care about the same things. And I think that's something really important, that when you are building a company, how we can make everyone to have that same mindset. So we were thinking about creating these principles that they were like in the middle of culture and team. They were connected those dots, and the idea is that they are not plain like, I don't know, make it simple, make it useful. I mean, of course, every company will have a principle for being useful or being simple. It's like what principles can we define that are genuine, that can be only for our company, strongly related with our personality, our beliefs, our passions, that can be practical, easy to actionate, that everyone can understand easily and really apply on the day by day, helping us to take decisions and easy to remember. So we have created these 10 principles that cover like the end-to-end of the process, from the discovery phase to UX UI, interaction, post-launch. And I am not going to share the 10, I'm just going to share 5. And well, some of them are a principle, others are part of a bigger principle. But I think it can be 5. Also take away some crap that I think it can be useful for sharing, and hopefully it can be inspiring. The first principle we are having is never take the first idea. It's something that we want all people on the team to have this mindset of not design something, it looks nice, I'm done. It's like never take the first idea, because we strongly believe that as you choose a path, it's really difficult to change it. If I start designing something and I keep going in that direction, it will be extremely difficult to stop, give a step back and do something different. So at the very beginning, we want people in our team to really, explore, have a strong divergence phase, and then move into a more specific selection of the best ideas. So we applied that to our own projects. For example, this was for Farco website. We had like thousands of screens and ideas and back and forth testing what we felt it was the best solution for the project. And at the very beginning is the most fun part, where we are like exploring like different paths. Like, do we want the website to have like, being involved with all the different environment and projects and people and culture, or we want something that is more direct when you are moving the mouse, or we want a 3D effect with all those ideas. Like, even if we have a specific purpose, how we are building that is something that we love to explore and not take the first idea. on having like all these scroll animations, whatever. I mean, we have tons of ideas. And in the end, it's like putting all those ideas on the table, select the best ones, and really go with the one that you feel is better. If you just choose the first idea, you will never know is that the best idea. So having this kind of principle helps that all the team have that mindset, and we are, on the same page. And we did like in every single asset, like the color palette, and we even also do it with our clients. This was like the final brand that this is for today. I mean, we have received t-shirts today, so I'm very proud of being able to show this. So this was like what we did for our branding, but we do for our clients as well. For example, this was for a consultancy in New York, and we have like different concepts around navigating business or connections and getting connected with people in New York, or having clarity in chaos in the middle of New York. So all those ideas were like put on the table, doing all that brainstorming, and then selecting the best ones to really go in the right direction. Never taking the first idea. Another principle we have on the studio is that interaction sparks emotion. Like a product should use storytelling, smooth transition, meaningful animations to communicate the essence of your brand. And I think sometimes we are like designing plain products with no emotion, no taking care of that people spend hours and hours and hours a day on their mobile phone or their computer. And it's so important that they feel something when they use our products. So that's something we take really care on the studio. So with every client we have, it is taking time. Every detail and every animation we do is based on the purpose of the brand. If we want to be more premium, more subtle, more fashion, more disruptive. So that's what animation can put on the table, and that connection with the brand principles. For example, in Mango as well, like they need to be like subtle, because it's like, they want the minimal style, but having some animation that, I mean, they are fashion brand. They need to be also like, having some flavor and having some emotions on the design. And also being like selecting when does it make sense that we are more aggressive with animation, because we want to be more immersive, and in which part we want to be more, conversion focused. That's really important as well. Because at the end, like animations will express the brand on digital. They will increase the feeling of discovery. This is really important. It elevates many UX patterns. It's not just for visual. It's not just for beauty. It also affects like UX and create unexpected moments, which I think is really, really important, having that emotions. So I guess at the end, it's like between plain and boring and something like dense and chaotic, where we feel is the right place for animation. Where do we want to be? So that's why we are defining this principle, so all the team can have similar mindset. And talking about boring, I guess one of my favorite principles in the studio is that less is more, but less is boring as well. And I think I'm sure many times you have heard that expression, like less is more, like reduce noise, reduce elements, less stuff. But in the end, if you reduce everything and you just have a simple text and a single button, at the end that's boring. And we are talking about also emotion, like how people feel and how people react to our products. So yeah, I mean, we want to be intentional, removing superfluous and obvious redundancies. But sometimes, and it can sound crazy, adding detail, adding complexity in the right moment, that can make a product not feel unrefined or common or average. So for example, this is an example of a project we did for Voto Latino, for Latino voters in US. It was like very simple, very minimal, very focused on conversion, but how we were adding illustrations, animations for making it feel live and have more emotional connection with people. It was simple, but it wasn't boring, and that's really important. But for example, in Mango, the e-commerce, we don't want to have tons of interactions because it's very conversion focused and every interaction creates noise, but just small details on the scroll when the elements are following you, so what product are you watching, the smooth transitions and animation that creates, some personality and some brand connection, and it's not so boring. Even in other projects, for example, day one was for a project that they were like being always a step ahead, and that was the concept of the brand. The brand is very simple. The brand has very simple elements for communication, but on hovers, on interaction, on small details, we are adding that flavor. We are connecting emotionally with the user on all that stuff. And we applied that to our own brand. This was when we were designing our new brand, our new key asset, and we were starting exploring like these pieces, and we were like, man, like every designer can do that. Like I'm sure there are 24,000 logos like that in the world. So we were like exploring like how we can create something unique that is simple but it's not boring, that it looks more refined and not so common or average. So we started thinking about a star that it was like with this negative space that you can see the star, but it's not so obvious. But we were still thinking that it might be so plain with that flat. So we were like finally having like the star that we have right now as the key visual, which I think that's the point of balancing how can something less is more, but it can be boring and taken care. And we want all the people in the company to have that on their heads. Another principle we are using is that anything can be systematized. It's like, we are all building products. We have all those principles of reusing components and patterns and being consistent, blah, 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 and that's great. But it is not just UI components, thinking beyond UI components. And there are tons of pieces that can be systematized as well. For example, floor plans on a product, how you can create a system inside a system for all those assets, for creating more efficiencies and, have a better time to market when you are building in the future new floor plans. Or what we did for Repsol, which it was creating a design system for the illustration, that it was inside the design system of Repsol. And it was great, like how everyone can just took the system, change skin, if you want woman, man, kid, and just change clothes, hair, and create the composition you want in seconds without being an illustrator. So having that mindset of systemizing everything is really important in the studio as well. And another principle we are using is first impression matters. We strongly believe that there is only one chance for the first impression. So really take care of what's on the first impression on every digital product. And we want all people on the studio to have also like that feeling. So this was exploration we did at the very beginning for Fargo website, that we are having these text and how it was like images appearing, how they are moving, and how we were expressing our brand personality in just 1 second as soon as you enter. And we apply that everywhere with every client or every product we are building. Like how are we loading things when you enter a product? I'm sure it has happened many times to you that you open 2 or 3 different websites because you are looking for buy something, and the first impression is really important for taking a decision, and how it expresses quality or it expresses security or trust. So we do in every single project, and always, of course, balancing like how aggressive we can be, how subtle we should be, but always try to have a good impression. And it can only be always with animation, movement, and crazy stuff. If you are building a very conversion-focused product, like think very well, copy, button, color, spacing, like story that you are telling on that first fold is critical. And it's really important to us as well on the studio. So last thing, and this is the last thing that I want to share with you, is like how you can impact culture in your company. Because again, like vision is usually defined by the C-level, or maybe it can be combined by other people that usually more defined by the founders or some leaders in the company. But culture is built by everyone on the team. It's built by the whole team, no matter where you are on the hierarchy in the company. And I will put you some examples. For example, Peikwin Farco, he created an amazing white label framework that we are using everywhere right now. We are using in so many projects. This is part of our culture. We are even doing an event in January based on white label design systems. And he was leading that, pushing for that, and now it's part of the essence of Farco. Sandra, as soon as she entered the company, she created all UX system on how we should document UX work. And she was building that on, okay, this is how Farco should document UX work. And that's great. And now that's part of our company. That is part of our culture as well. Irene is building the newsletter of the company because she was like, there are some moments where we are not communicating so well, or happens things that are not all the people is aware because we're in remote. And she was like, okay, take the newsletter, and now we are more connected in remote thanks to all those news that we are sharing. Ale, she was there, but she had to leave. She's one of the best UI designers we have on the studio, and now all the people on the studio, they are like asking her for feedback. She's like setting the standards in quality in UI on the studio. So she's raising the bar, and now everyone feels like, okay, this is the minimum UI quality we should have on the studio. And that's something that she's leading, she's doing, and is culture as well. Or Vanessa, for example, when she entered the company, she was like, well, the onboarding was not bad, but not amazing. It was tons of space for improving. And she was like, can I do it better? And I was like, yeah, sure, do it. And now she's shaping our onboarding process and how we can, have a better way of onboarding people on the studio. And it's great. That will be part of our culture as well. So basically, the idea that I want to share with you is that we as founders or wherever, we can define a vision, we can work on principles, we can work on values, the initiatives, we can work on every principle related to craft, but it's the team who is really shaping that culture. Because in the end, this is culture. Thank you so much. This photo is from today, Thanksgiving. I just added, changed it last minute. I had another one. It was like, I don't know, 3-4 hours ago.
Lovely. I'm sure there are questions. There is always questions related to culture. No?
They are tired. So many talks.
So with your permission, I have a question about, you mentioned performance review in your session. How such a creative work as the work of designer could be objectively measured, and what are the key points of the performance of a designer?
You mean the key points that we are following?
Yeah, evaluating the performance.
Yeah, as I said, we are following our values. So we are evaluating quality and how is that connected with our standard in quality. We are evaluating service, like, are you helping other people to grow? Are you being gentle with other people on the studio? We are evaluating transparency. Are you transparent with your team, with your manager, with people you have also, in every part of the hierarchy? Are you being transparent with clients? And the fourth thing we are evaluating is entrepreneurship, which is, are you having initiative on the studio? Are you, being proactive to do things that we don't ask you, but you want to do those? And that's something really important to us. And if it's important to us, it makes sense to, do a performance review in a way that we connect our culture and mindset with the way you are performing. It's not only quality, it's not only pixels. There are, more pieces that is important.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hello. Great work. Congratulations. I wanted to ask you, and it's more of a recommendation actually. You mentioned something, and I think it was a quote. It's important to remind people what's important, or the team, what's the most important things. What would be your recommendation for a growing company, scale up, which have siloed teams? What type of rituals, what type of routines, how would you remind people what's important, or what are your principles?
I think there should be a common goal. It should be a common purpose, because if not, they will have like separate goals, separate purpose, and having common goals in the company is like, if I win, you win. Like, we are not here fighting for different stuff. We are all doing the same thing. I remember, for example, in BBVA, where we had that problem of different teams in different countries, in different parts of the company, having like different mindset, and they were fighting their own wars every day. There was a final principle of one team. Like, we are one team. We are building this together. We were evaluating people as well on how are you expressing as one team in your day by day. So some people were really connecting with that. Other people were more pushed for performance reviews and things like that. So I think it should happen, from the leadership of the company that should drive that. For not creating those zero. Common purpose, common goals, common principles, common values.
Thank you.
Something that I like to do when we hire people, first is cultural match, and having double checks with different people, and to look for what is the unique value that this person is bringing us that we don't have in a team already. Something that we always want, something that is unique, that can add to the team, and that people can learn from that, and this person can learn from the others. So there needs to be a good match, and it needs to be a piece more in the past, not a repeated piece. Usually.
And sometimes it's surprising because, for example, we hired Peku, which is one of the designers on the team, because he was having experience in advertisement in the past. He was like producer in the advertisement in the industry, and it was great because it was like surprising how good he was on design systems and everything logic, not only creative part. So we hired him because he was different, and at the end we found like new pieces that we were not thinking. Like, okay, you were amazing on that, which is different, but you were also great on all that, and it's great how people can surprise you. It's amazing. But it's a good point, like selecting people that fill a gap that you have on your team.
What's going to happen?
Thank you, great presentation. One of our wise colleagues once said, you recognize quality when you see it. And I'm wondering, since you mentioned quality, how do you measure it?
On what? On a hiring process or on the day by day?
Is it part of your performance review and it's part of your culture? And it can be subjective. So how do you rational measure it?
It can be subjective some parts, but other parts are objective. Like, how are you taking care of the delivery? How are you ordering files? How are you using patterns that you should be using as a designer? How are you solving client problems? Like, what's your really KPIs on projects with clients? Like, are you really solving real problems, or are you distracted with problems that are not really important? Like, all that is something that we can measure for sure. And there is also something that when you have more experience, there are some corrupt things that you just detect immediately. For example, my father, he's like a painter, like painting, and he always tell me, like, I know if you are good drawing or not just with one line. You can draw one line on paper, and I can see if you know how to draw or not, how you take the pencil, how you move the hand, and that really show if you are, very good on that craft. So that's something that we also know sometimes. But to your point, there are things that can be objective, not only on that feeling, but also things that we can define. Sure.
Okay, so thanks everyone. I think there is some food right there, right? Or is, let me add some words before we go it. So, thanks everyone for coming today. We want this to be the start of a new era of events. If you are passionate about talking, sharing,